Hey there, today I'm going to be walking you through the 7 major mistakes that busy women make that keep them from feeling balanced and aligned. And you might have heard of the second mistake, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't see how deeply it could impact us and keep you feeling more stuck than you actually are. And maybe you're one of them because I definitely was. Let's get started. Mistake number one. I call this the busyness trap. You know, when someone asks you, how have you been? The response is often, I've been really good, but it's been so busy, or it's been crazy busy, or I've been so stressed out. It's really great though, but yeah, it's just so busy. And then the conversation goes, okay, well, what's been going on in your world? That sounds really great. Like, it's great that you're busy, but what's been going on? And you might say something along the lines of, or may have heard, work's been crazy. We're launching a new project. It's going to be all hands on deck. Then I've got a few different events lined up that I need to be at, and I've been invited, so I should really go. And then I need to jump on a flight on the night of the last event to Bali for a wellness retreat that's going to start on the day I arrive, and hopefully there won't be any delays. But then I'm just going to stay a few extra days to chill. And then my friend is going to be in Singapore, so since I'm nearby, I'm thinking about just flying over and meeting her. And then my cousin's going to be in town, so I need to fly back here and meet him. Then we're gonna meet. Then we're gonna go explore the latest food scene, and I've got a ton of research to do. Speaking of, by the way, do you know any good dim sum places? Send me a list, yeah. Oh, and then my dog needs to get his routine vaccinations. I really haven't had time to book a time with the vet, but hopefully no other surprises come up. And then my friend is hosting a charity event that I promised to help out with, and then my big boss is coming to town for this new project. So yeah, there's a lot going on in the next few months. Yeah, that is a lot. And there's a lot going on in her work life. There's a lot going on in her personal life. Saying that you're busy is a blanket statement here, and busy can really feel like a long haul depending on your perspective, depending on how you're tackling your to do list, right? So, even if you're really excited about all the things that come up, it's so easy to feel overwhelmed and lose sight of excitement and start feeling like everything is just a little less meaningful and it feels like a drag and you just can't wait for it all to be over. This happens especially when you go on to autopilot mode and if you've lost purpose in all that you've planned. So it's really important to redefine busyness and reclassify events in your life as commitments or responsibilities, or then fun things that you're really looking forward to, such as quality social time or discovering a new city or the food scene in the scenario, or that you're taking time for self-care and for your well-being. It's really important to separate them because then you don't loop them all together as one big busy umbrella and then everything just feels like a drag. But when you're so able to separate them, then you have more clarity as to why you have so many things lined up, or it really allows us to create more intention and purpose. Busyness without purpose is just a distraction. It can drain your energy. It can keep you away from what actually matters. False sense of purpose. And sometimes busyness creates a false sense of purpose that helps us feel worthy or important or secure, even if we're just running in the hamster wheel. So maybe it could really help to redefine what makes your life so busy and recategorize or ditch some of these engagements completely. And to be honest, I used to dive into work a little too much to avoid feelings after a bad breakup, or when I was feeling lonely in the city, or if my friends had moved on to long-term relationships, or if they were starting to grow their families and I wasn't quite there. I felt heartbreak and I felt grief and I felt loneliness. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to channel all this and just go be productive. And that could be a good thing. And then there's overdoing it. And I was definitely overdoing it and I was escaping. So definitely check in with yourself and see, why are you so busy, or if you're just being overly productive, and do these busy things, do these things that you have categorized under busy actually fulfill you. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is overusing the word busy or busyness to avoid something will only create more suppressed feelings, and more suppressed emotions over time creates blockage in your body, which then manifests energetically, mentally, emotionally into, for example, chronic stress, anxiety, depression, gut issues, chronic pain, stiffness, migraines, headaches, or other chronic conditions, or even diseases down the line. So if you're using busyness as a way of escaping, to not deal with your emotions, to suppress your feelings, Maybe it's time to redefine what it is that you're so committed to every single day and bring meaning back to them. One of the key questions here is really, what does the word busy mean to you? Ask yourself honestly, does this activity directly contribute to my core goals or my well being? If not, just ditch the busy work. Mistake number two, having poor boundaries. You've probably heard of this before, but I'm going to get right into it again. Having poor boundaries are not only energy vampires, but they can seriously create negative energy blocks in us. Boundaries are guidelines we create for how other people can treat us and how we respond when someone crosses our limits. Poor boundaries look like saying yes when you're really done for the day and you just want to leave work, and then you get this last minute request from your boss who's, let's say, at a fancy smancy dinner, and you say yes, and you sigh, do what's needing, and begrudgingly do what's needed while feeling resentful. Does that sound familiar? So, without boundaries, it is easy to feel frustrated, angry, or resentful without acknowledging it. It's easy to get moody and then take things out on the people that we really love. And if we're always serving others a need, say, for example, a toxic boss or a codependent girlfriend who always needs you, or a family member who always ropes you into helping out or paying for something that has nothing to do with you but makes you feel guilty if you don't. And the other point I want to make is that it is so easy to absorb other people's emotions and problems, especially if you're an empath, someone who's sensitive to emotions, or even if you're an empath but you don't know it and you're completely shut off. A huge part of our population is empathetic, and for some people, they have yet to discover this trait in themselves. For empaths, it is easy to take on negative energy that is not yours, especially when someone's just releasing or in a very heated conversation or venting. That load can easily get transferred to you. Say, for example, there's someone right here and they're getting really heated and they are really releasing a lot of negative energy as they're talking. Me being right next to them, and if I was very, very empathic, I could be soaking all of that up. Even if I wasn't empathic, I would still be soaking some of that up. I'm just saying with empaths, even more so. But it doesn't matter. If we haven't been taking care of ourselves and we don't have a strong energy barrier, it is easy for anyone to be releasing their energy and for us to be absorbing it. That's just how our body works. That's just how energy works. So you could be carrying more than you already had, and it takes more for you and your body to release it. And your energy then feels depleted, you feel drained, and it is hard not to feel sensitive. And if you bottle all of this up over time, the people who are closest to you, your family or your partner, or your friends or your roommate, could end up feeling the brunt of your resentment. I was a yes girl for decades with zero boundaries, and I was often the last to get off work, and I worked nights and weekends. I would spend my free time helping out family or friends or go volunteering, and there really wasn't much free time because I really said yes to everything. And it was done a lot by autopilot as well, which meant I really didn't have very much me time, and self-care practices just really didn't exist. I just really want to share something quickly that you might resonate with. One time I went to do volunteer work after a really exhausting work day, and then I went home drained. And the first thing I heard when I stepped through the door from my partner was, "What's for dinner?" I literally snapped because I felt like other people could do me a favor or owed me because I went out trying to help people. And the truth is, I was overgiving when my basics were not in order. And what I learned from that is that you can just pause, you could stop. Before answering anything, you can literally ask yourself, do I have the capacity? Do I really want to do this? Can I offer this to other people without feeling owed or resentful? Your new default phrase could be like, let me check my schedule and I'll get back to you, because this gives you time and gives you space to really check in before you do anything, or if you say or answer anything to any. Mistake number three, not being authentic with yourself and how you feel. You might be telling your friends and family, I'm fine. It's good. It's okay. It's okay. I got this. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And really, you're drowning. Some of the times you probably don't even realize that you're not fine at all. And sometimes you're just persevering so well and smiling through the pressure, secretly hoping that you don't crack. You might be hiding under your struggles because a good leader or someone who has their life together should have all the answers. That's a lot of pressure. Performing is exhausting. It isolates you and prevents you from authentic support. Instead, you could one, check in with yourself and ask yourself how you're really feeling. How much battery do you have left in your charge? And what are the top three emotions you're currently feeling at the moment and why? Honor how you feel and normalize imperfection. It's okay. Try saying small things like, I'm actually really swamped right now, or I'm feeling really anxious and I need an hour to take care of myself. Can I get back to you? Can I get back to you later? Go back to your boundaries. If it is work related, maybe what's honest is, I could do it, but honestly, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to deliver well right now because I am beyond exhausted. So maybe I shouldn't. Is it more important to deliver something early, let's say, or deliver something a tad later, but of quality? Obviously, it depends how time sensitive something is, but I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe it might not be worth pushing all the time if we do have time before the deadline. And for example, if your friend is, let's say, hosting an event, you might be thinking, okay, I can make it to the event, but I might not be very present. Would your friend really want you there, even if you're just there passively? Imagine you as your friend. Imagine you're the one throwing the party. Would you want your friend there if she was just there passively? She was just showing up because she said she would, but she's not really present. How would that make you feel? Right? So it really depends on the situation, but maybe it's fair on both sides if you don't go because you feel maxed out and you don't feel like going and you don't feel like you're going to be the most present. Maybe it is the best thing that you could do for all parties involved because maybe it's actually best for all. It might be unfair and disrespectful to your friend, but by pulling through, you end up frustrating your friend if you don't show up being present and if you don't have a decent attitude. A good friend would understandably be disappointed, yet supportive if you told them the truth that you don't want to pull through right now because you're not feeling your best and you don't feel like you're going to be present or have a good time or, kill the vibe there. They would really want you to take care of yourself and then show up and be present when you're together, perhaps at another time. So if you're not feeling great, just own it and ask yourself, what's really the best course of action right now? Maybe we can plan a one-on-one get together another time and celebrate whatever, the event is for and show up for them with your undivided attention and energy because you really want to and you want to be there for your friend and you have the energy to be there for your friend. As a healer, I used to always say I'm good whenever anyone asked me how I was. I thought that if I wasn't okay, then who was I to support anyone else? But that was my ego talking. And honestly, my personal life could not be good, but I can still professionally show up at work and be there and be in the zone to support my client during sessions. I'm dedicated to that. So it's actually quite irrelevant. And so I stopped faking it. I stopped pretending that I had my shit together, to be honest, because I didn't. And if anything, it gave my clients a sense of relief and the feeling of permission that it's okay that I don't have things sorted out because Corey doesn't either. And yeah, it's true because I'm human too. I'm not, better because I'm a healer. I'm still human. I have a lot of things that go wrong, right? And so I had this restriction in my mind before that I needed to say that I'm good and pretend that I'm good, even if I'm not, in order to show up for people. That is not true. And since we're on this topic, by the way, you might be wondering, who is this person who's telling me about the mistakes that I might be making when I'm just trying to keep my head above water? Well, I just want to say I've been there a lot and for a long time. I spent a decade working in corporate Hollywood and film publicity, working 12 hours regularly. And I'm the only child and by default, the eldest daughter. I matured when I was really young, parenting a parent, and I was working multiple jobs to help my family and myself. I had zero boundaries. I was codependent in relationships that thankfully never worked out. And without any siblings, my friends and my family were the people I would do anything for. And I had always been a friend to anyone who needed me, but I was never that friend to myself. And that's why I really want to share all of this. Anyway, let's move on. Mistake number 4, the purpose paradox. This is all around lack of clarity, and purpose. And it is an extension of mistake number three, not being authentic with yourself and how you're feeling. So, anyway, the purpose paradox. This is when we're starting to feel adrift, when we're jumping from one thing to another without a real sense of how anything contributes to anything meaningful. We could be showing up for work or social events thinking, what's the point? But we're still doing it anyway. Could evil and without a clear why, and you end up having decision fatigue and scattered focus. I used to show up for networking events that I dreaded because I really felt like I had to be there. It was the smart thing to do. Don't miss opportunity. I would tell myself to show my face and go. I rarely enjoyed them because my heart just wasn't in it. And I went for the wrong reasons or very little reasons because I was pushing myself to be productive and meet people when the bigger part of me just really wished I was home or that I ordered in and binged on TV instead. But if I had set a great intention and boundary, like, okay, we're going to go for an hour and let's listen to two or three people talk. And if you really feel drawn to them, you can learn more about them, listen to their story, and then call it a night. And if it's really not a great scene, then let's be respectful. Let's show up for the host or the person who invited us, and let's just be there for them. I would have had a much better time because I had a clear purpose and a timeout. Giving myself that permission really removed the guilt. So maybe something that could help you too is to stop and recenter. Clarify your three priorities, maybe even for the quarter or for the year. Does this action or does this commitment move me towards my core goals? Okay, mistake number 5, the I'll do it myself trap. This one is hard because it took me a while to break free out of this mistake myself. So basically, this is when you refuse to delegate because it just feels faster to do things yourself, or you micromanage every detail. And it's important because you start becoming the bottleneck and you burn out, and your team or the people who you've asked to help you never get a chance to grow. As a small business owner, I've hired freelancers and then I would micromanage their process or jump in and finish the work myself, especially when they had clocked out. I'm like, okay, it's cool. I got this. One thing leads to another and I finish the whole thing. And I'm like, oh crap, you know? And I asked myself, why did I bother paying someone if I was just going to do this anyway? It was respectful to them and it was exhausting to me. So, one thing you could do is delegate one small task this week with clear instructions and a deadline. Focus on the outcome, not the method, and just trust the process and trust the person you've delegated this to. Okay, mistake number 6. This is when we are pushing through the week so that we can make it to the weekend, thinking that a weekend getaway or a wellness retreat is going to fix your burnout. It doesn't work. The lifestyle is just too extreme and very unsustainable. It creates a brutal crash and burn cycle, and returning to work can really feel dreadful because nothing has really changed. Do you ever wonder why we get the Monday blues? So, I have a girlfriend who was a very high powered executive at a global firm. She got everything she wanted. She made loads of money. Every weekend, she would fly everywhere. At first, it was because she was like, I'm in Asia. I might as well make the most out of it. It's so close to fly everywhere, right? This is a very typical mindset that a lot of people have living in Asia because it is truly really easy to fly here and there. However, I noticed that she started doing it whenever something really challenging came up. Whether there was a tricky boss or she didn't really like her team or she was dating the wrong guy and they had a big breakup or she felt betrayed by someone or whatever. There were always a lot of different challenges, as we all do have, right? And so she would just pop off anywhere. She didn't really want to deal with her sadness or her loneliness or her heartbreak, and she would just fly off to wherever she wanted to go for that weekend. But she realized it's not working. Anywhere she's going, she's still holding on to those feelings, those emotions, and it's actually growing and making it worse because she doesn't want to deal with them. Even if she was at the most gorgeous wellness retreat, it's still at the back of her mind and it was annoying. So I was talking to her and asking her, what is it about these holidays or these wellness retreats that really charge you? What are the positive takeaways from all these experiences? And can you incorporate them in your day-to-day life? Are you able to introduce what I call micro Zens? Because maybe a little 5-minute mindfulness break could really help you throughout your day, recentering yourself, going back to your intention, going back and finding a purpose before you do something. Or if you're feeling a big emotion come up, can you just sit there and be like, wow, I'm feeling a lot of grief right now, or I'm feeling a lot of frustration right now. Even acknowledging that alone could do wonders for your body. So, not just your body, by the way, your whole self. So, maybe try micro Zens, taking mindfulness breaks throughout the day, or stepping outside and taking 3 deep breaths, or you could soak in the sun. Make well-being a daily practice, not a distant reward, not one that you can only enjoy when you're on holiday or at a wellness retreat. Living life in extremes, all work and no play, or retreating into a cave at a wellness retreat is not working. It's just not sustainable anymore. So add what you love from those vacations or those retreats into your daily life in bite sizes, and maybe that could really serve you. Last mistake, mistake number 7, the autopilot assumption. This is when you believe that your overwhelmed state is permanent and unchangeable, thinking that this is just the way it is, and you can complain a lot, but nothing changes. The mistake is that it locks all others in place. It leads to passive suffering, it's a learned helplessness, and eventually a full-blown burnout. So for a long time when I was working in corporate, I used to tell myself, I don't have a choice. This is, I need to do this for my boss, or I need to do this for my team, or for the client. Or if it was outside of the office, it's, I have to do this for my family. I have to do this for my friends. But what was it at the end? One of the key issues was zero boundaries. Ta-da! It was back to mistake number 2. Every time I caught myself in a toxic cycle, I had to remind myself I had a choice in it. And because I had a choice in it, I should be responsible for the choice that I'm making and not feeling like this is happening to me. I happened to it, like I did this to myself. So that choice is what could help you break out of a toxic cycle, realizing that you have a choice if you are truly willing. So one of the things that could help is take charge of your agency. Challenge the assumption. Ask yourself, is this truly non-negotiable? Or am I making it seem non-negotiable? And if so, why? If you want to dig a little deeper. What is the one tiny choice I can make right now that could change this pattern? You are the author of your habits. You're not a victim of them. So we've gone through 7 mistakes: the busyness trap, poor boundaries, hiding our true needs, lacking clarity and purpose, refusing to delegate, relying on weekend escapes and retreats, and believing that we're stuck on autopilot. These mistakes keep us feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, and out of alignment. But here is the empowering truth. They are not personality traits. They are choices and habits. And because you built them, you could break them. The most important shift is to go from passive assumption to active choice. So if you want, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to pick one of these 7 mistakes that resonate with you most for this week, and for the next 7 days, consciously practice the shift. Notice the difference it makes. This is how you can stop feeling overwhelmed and build a life that energizes you, not exhausts you. Thank you for watching this video. For more bite-sized doses of healing or reflections, follow me on Instagram at Corey Chu Healing. And I'll see you there or in another video soon. Thank you. Bye.